Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Stayntouch Product Enhancements, version 5.80, built-in release strategy, rate strategy functionality, expanded shared notes, and more, presented by Stayntouch implementation consultant, Natasha Leck. I'm your host, Erin Fisher, the content writer here at Stayntouch. Today's presentation will cover how you can get the most out of the Stayntouch PMS version 5.80 product release. In this webinar, we will cover the following enhancements: rate strategy, company and travel agent and guest card notes shareable to reservations for company and travel agent cards, alternate hotel names, files clickable from the stay card, IATA number label changed to travel agent ID, and add a reservation number when transactions are moved. We will have a short Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation, and we will answer them in the order they are received at the end. And that's all I have right now. Natasha, I'm going to switch it over to you.
Thank you, Erin. All right, let's dive right in. So the first topic that Erin already mentioned is rate strategy. Now, this feature is still in pilot and it needs to be enabled by support. And what is important to note with the rate strategy as well is that it cannot be used together with a revenue management system. So once this is enabled, you will have a new permission showing. And let me just quickly bring that up to show you. Under hotel and staff and permissions, you will now find the update rate price in here. And once this permission is assigned to the user, from the menu and then revenue management, you will be able to see the rate strategy. Now you can see here that we have two different options. We have configure and apply. So the strategy first has to be configured, of course, before then applying it to a date range and a specific rate. So let's create a strategy together. So on our configuration page, we're going to click on new configuration and we're going to put in the rate strategy name. And then here we have the type, which is going to be either percentage or euros in this case, but this obviously depends on what currency your property is in. Currently, the parameter that we have is occupancy. And then we're going to set the threshold. So we're going to say, all right, if our occupancy is less than 10%, and then we have to pick an action. So what do you want the system to do? We're going to say, I want to decrease my prices with, let's say, 10%. You can add additional logic in here. So you can also say, all right, if for this same strategy, if my occupancy is greater than 80%, I want to increase my prices with 20%, for example. And you can either delete actions or add more here as you go along. When you're happy with your rate strategy, you can save this. And now that it's created, we can go from configure to apply. Couple items to note here before we're going to apply this strategy. Rates cannot be part of more than one strategy over the same date range. Only public rate types will be available for selection. I will show you this shortly. So that means that rate types that are corporate or group cannot be selected. And child rates will not show as an option, as when a parent rate is updated, the child rate will follow. All right. So let's apply this strategy. I'm going to click here on the right-hand side, and then we need to decide on that date range. So pick a date for when we want that strategy to be active. So let's set this for today, maybe a day in the future. And then the rates that, or here we select the rate strategy. So that's that webinar that we decided. Oh, let's have a look. Maybe I need to change my dates. Let me put it somewhere in the future. Oh, Need to make sure that I have a rate available. One moment, I have been playing around in the system a little bit too much, I think. Let's set it here in August. Hi. All right, in that case, I'm going to just show you a strategy that we already have applied. Let's have a quick look. Oh. Let's see. All right. So what we can see here is that we already have a strategy applied, the rate strategy of bar, and we can see here what that will do. So for example, if my occupancy is greater than 50%, it'll increase with 15%, etc., etc. So here we have all of our different options. And then here we can decide on which rate we want the strategy to apply. So this is the way that it will then display. And as I said, only the rate types that are public and a parent rate will display here as option. So once you've set this strategy, you will then see the changes reflect in the rate manager. So if we now go to Stayntouch offers, so let's have a look. Let's see, our occupancy for today, let's have a look, is less than 10%. So that means that our Stayntouch offers will have been adjusted. We can see that from here, and we can see then as well that this rate has been adjusted from here. Any changes that have been made to the rate as part of a strategy will also show in the activity log of the rate. So whenever I go into the rate itself, from rate and then rates again, let's find my Stayntouch offer rate. And then from the rate details, we can open up the activity log. And in here, we can see the adjustments made by the rate strategy. Alrighty. The next item on the list is company and travel agent and guest card notes are shareable to reservations. So before I go into this, I do want to mention that at the moment, this functionality is only available for customers that have the new actions and notes feature enabled. So please contact customer support if you are interested in using this feature. It will be rolled out to all customers by the end of May this year anyways, as well. All right, so similar to the group shared notes, company, travel agent, and guest cards notes can now be shared. So let's dive into our company card from the menu under revenue management and then company and travel agent card. I'm going to search for my card. And then here we will be able to see notes. Now, when a note is created in the company or travel agent card, so we can see here, webinar note, we can see at the bottom that we have this toggle to post to all reservations. This will make the note appear on all reservations that have this company or travel agent card associated. So once I post this, I can decide to post notes and share this within the property. And I can also make this an alert on the reservation itself. And so when I post a note, we can see that this is now a shared note. When I go into my reservation that has hotel automation attached as its company, you will be able to see my note on here. So the webinar note, and you can see that this is a company note. So it will tell you where the note came from. The note can also be selected as an alert. So if I go into my company and I can edit the note from here, it's not possible to edit the note from the stay card as it is a company note. So when I go in here and I make this an alert and I save this, you will now be able to see that this also becomes an alert on the reservation. So as you make the change to the company card or the travel agent card, of course, the reservations that are associated will follow. It can also, of course, be deleted from here, and we can make those save adjustments again. Any of the changes that are made are recorded in the activity log. So here in the activity log, you'll be able to see all the items that I have done so far. You can see the user, etc., etc. From the next release, so that's going to be 5.81, when a reservation is created with a company or travel agent card attached, the PMS will automatically add that shared note to the stay card. So at the moment, this functionality is for reservations that already have the company card associated. Now, this functionality that I've shown you so far is all, of course, within the property. Now, what I would like to show you is another part, which is basically step 2, I would say. When we go into revenue management, I'm going to grab my company card again to show you that when I activate this toggle over here, so I make my company card global, it will be possible to share a note across the property chain as well. So when I go into my notes and files, because I have files enabled for this property, and I'm going to say across chain note, and I want to post this to all reservations, I get an option now that says, do I want to keep this just in this property, or do I want to share this across the chain? The this is an alert functionality will still work the same as I previously showed you. So when I now do this across chain and I post a note, you will see below here that it will also say and share across chain. And when I click here, you will also see a pop-up. And this pop-up will make sure, all right, are you sure that you want to post this to all reservations associated with this company or travel agent card in every property across the chain? So when I say yes, post this note, it is now sent here. So if I now go to one of my other properties within the same chain, let me just make sure that I have that ready. For reservations that have the company card associated, you will now see the note here. So let me have a quick look. I did associate the note. Ah, there we go. Do have to, of course, set it to across chain if you actually want to spread that across the chain. So then here you'll see them appear again. And again, you do not have the option to edit this because it is set in the company card. So the way that this will work is the same as what I showed you previously, but then just with the option to share it globally across the chain that your property is a part of. All right, the next functionality is the option for alternate hotel names for a multi-property user. So I'm going to switch to another hotel where I have my chain dashboard activated. And what I would like to show you is at the moment, my hotel is called Natasha's Place. Now, if I go into my hotel from the menu, I will be able to go into my settings as we are used to. And then under hotel details, or hotel and staff, and then hotel details, I will be able to set a alternate name. So let me put this as a webinar name. And when I save this, you'll be able to see this new name across a few places, but this is only for within the PMS, so it is not guest facing. This new name will display on the multi-property dashboard itself. So if I go back into my chain dashboard, you'll see that the webinar 5.80 name displays here. And when I go into my availability screen and I want to have a look at all hotels within the chain, you will see that now the name displays here as webinar 5.80 with the name. It'll also display in the statistics tab. So if I pull up a reservation and I go into the statistics of the stay card, you'll be able to see here as well the name for, or the new alternate name, I should say. And this is also for statistics on a company card. So if I search for my company card and I go into the statistics, you'll see that new name display, or alternate name, I should say, here as well. Another place that you'll be able to see this is going to be in the users. So when I go back into my settings, under hotel and staff and user setup, when I move into all users, over here you'll be able to see, when I click on show all hotels, that we have the new name display here. And if I open up the hotels to see where a user is a part of, you will see the name displays here as well with that alternate name. The last place that this will also show is when you're setting up your property groups. So via chain and property group, whenever you're creating one, let's see if I have one in here, you'll be able to see the new alternate name display here as well. As I said, this is not customer facing. This is all only within Stayntouch itself. All right. Another new feature that I would like to show you is that files now are clickable from the stay card and show a little preview. So when I go into my reservation that has a note associated or a file attachment, and if file attachment is of course enabled for your property, it is now possible to click on that file from the stay card and preview this. So I have under notes and files, I already have a file show here. And when I click on this file, I will be able to see the file together with a little preview of the actual document. From here, of course, we can also manage those files and you'll be able to see them. But the main thing that I wanted to show you was that little preview when you click on the actual document. And then we're already down to the last feature that I want to, oh no, not yet. Ooh, I am too quick. The second to last feature that I want to show you is that the IATA number label has now changed to travel agent ID. So when moving into a travel agent card, let's go there together. We're going to go from revenue management and company and travel agent cards again. In my example, I'm just going to use this booking.com travel agent card that I have. You will see here that where it would in the past show IATA number, it now displays travel agent ID together with travel agent hashtag here in the text itself. This is also adjusted when searching from a travel agent from a stay card. So if I move into, for example, my reservation here, and I'm going to search for a travel agent card, you'll be able to see that when I click here, and let me just open this up, you'll see travel agent number displayed here as well as over here. And of course, when we are searching for a travel card in general from the company and travel agents tab, you can also see now that it displays travel agent number here as well as in the search bar. All right, to show my last item, I just want to move into a different user to make sure that I can post on my reservation. So going back into my demo environment, what I would like to show you is that when a transaction is moved from a reservation, you will now see this in the activity log with a couple of additional details in there. So let me quickly create an additional reservation so that we can move those charges. Obviously, the reservation creation process we are already aware of, so I'm not going to cover that. I just want to make sure that I have a reservation that I can use. All right. So when I am on a reservation and we have a transaction that is posted here. So let me post a transaction on this reservation. And I have decided I am going to move this charge. What I want to do is I want to, of course, send it then to that other guest that we can see here. So once that charge is moved in the stay card itself, when we go to the activity log here at the bottom and click on show details, you will now see the following. So you will see the original guest name and the original reservation together with the recipient and the recipient reservation. And this doesn't only show here, because when I move into the reservation for Natasha, you will also be able to see it in the activity log here to make sure that it's recorded in both places. So when I go to the activity log, you will now see that that charge has moved. All right, those were all the items that I wanted to cover today.
All right, thank you, Natasha. I'd now like to turn over the floor for questions. Remember, you can submit questions in the question box in the middle of the control panel. So I don't see any questions yet, but I'll give everyone a few seconds to enter any. All right, I'm still not seeing any questions. So if there are no questions, I'll switch back to my screen.
Thank you, Erin.
Yep, thank you. All right, so today we reviewed the following enhancements: rate strategy, company, travel agent, and guest card notes shareable to reservations, alternate hotel names, files clickable from the stay card, IATA number label changed to travel agent ID, and add reservation number when transactions are moved. With that, I'd like to conclude our presentation. Thank you all for coming, and if you have any additional questions, feel free to email me at erin.fisher@stayntouch.com. Thanks again.